Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Deborah or Deb or Debbie or Deborah. You can call me whatever floats your boat, as long as it kind of sounds like my actual name. And I make YouTube videos. I don't know what that was. So if you've been on my channel for a while, you notice that I kind of have a change in scenery, and if you've been here for a while, you will notice that this is my old background because it's the background in my old room in my family house. So I'm actually back in Alberta for the holidays, so that's where I'm at right now, and so I'm chilling and recording in my old room. But anyway, I just thought today that I'd sit down real quick and chat with you guys about just a few habits, a few minimalist habits that you can try to implement into your life in 2021. I know that as we start to approach the new year, people tend to make, resolutions and have goals in terms of making and creating new habits. And for some people, it may be kind of coming into more minimalist habits. And I thought I'd share with you guys some of the habits that I found kind of work for me and just almost ensuring and almost ensuring and leading a minimalist lifestyle. I'm just gonna say I'm not a perfect minimalist in any way. I think I've really only started to embrace the title minimalist pretty recently, I guess maybe 6 to 10 months ago, or maybe mostly at the start of this year. So it's kind of a new thing for me, and I'm definitely still in the process of learning. But throughout that time, I think I've picked up a few habits that I thought are worthy of sharing. So I'm just gonna jump right into it. I think I have about 8 or 7 habits. Kind of a weird number, I know. That was just everything I could think of. So the first habit I want to talk about is kind of thinking very carefully before making a purchase. And part of the main thing of minimalism is being very intentional and mindful about the items that you bring into your personal space. And for me, one of the important steps in terms of kind of realizing that is just being very thoughtful about a purchase. So I tend to kind of mull over a particular purchase that I want to make before going ahead to make it, and just making sure that it's something that I really need. If it's a particular item I've had my eye on, I probably leave it in my cart, or I have it in my cart and then just leave it for a week, a couple weeks, a month, and then if I'm still thinking about it, then I go back and purchase it. And so that's definitely something that I try to incorporate. I don't shop impulsively as I used to before, just because I've kind of ingrained into myself this habit of, well, do you really need that? And just kind of really thinking carefully and more, I guess in a way, weighing the pros and cons of, a particular product or item and what good it would be for me and how functional it's going to be in my life. The second habit that I've really embraced is this idea of finishing up a product before I go ahead and buy a new one. And for me, this is a very important habit, just because in the past, before I kind of switched over to a more minimalist mindset, I used to always hoard, in a way, products, especially like skincare items, makeup items, and even food. Sometimes I would always just buy stuff and repurchase stuff before I'm done using a particular product, and so I would end up with like multiple items once, or even with food I would end up with so many items and just sometimes wasting food as well. And so now what I make sure that I do is, in terms of products that are not food, I just make sure that I'm really almost done using the item. Like I probably have one more use left with the item before I go ahead and purchase another one. And that just really helps to reduce the amount of waste that I generate too, and it makes sure that it helps to ensure that I'm really getting the bang for my buck out of a product before I go invest in maybe the same product or a different product. And I guess that also ties into the first point, where it's if I find a new product that I kind of want to try out, but I have something that's already working, I kind of hold off on getting that new product until I'm done using my current product, and then it's like, okay, enough time has passed where I can, you know, spend the money for the new product. So I think that's definitely a habit everybody can try to imbibe. A third habit, but I guess I wouldn't really call this, it's kind of a habit embedded in multiple habits in a way. It's just in general keeping simple routines. So I have, you know, a pretty simple morning routine, a pretty simple nighttime routine, skincare routine, self-care routine, if that makes sense. So I try to simplify, you know, various aspects of my life just to, I guess, make my life more easygoing, because one thing about me is I'm kind of lazy. And if a particular routine or a particular aspect of my life becomes a little too complicated, I just tend to not do it. And so I find that a good way for me to keep up with like the important things is to just keep simpler routines, and that's been working for me. I'm hoping in the future sometime I'm able to share, I don't know, probably like a skincare routine, because I'm really impressed with the way I've managed to really bear down on my skincare routine, coming from, you know, a past where I was a skincare junkie in a way, but now I'm less so. And even in terms of like makeup and like, you know, morning time routine, nighttime routine, and all of that. So hopefully in the future sometime I can share that with you guys. If you want me to do something like that, definitely let me know in the comment section down below and I will work on it. The next habit that I have definitely imbibed, and I think I could encourage people to imbibe, is cooking more at home. First of all, I've never really been a person that's big on eating out. I really like to cook at home, mostly because I'm kind of cheap, and I like to be able to know what goes into my food. But this is not to say that I cook home every single time. I mean, there's some, you know, Friday nights where it's like, you know, I've had a long week, I don't really have any more food left over, so I'm just gonna order out, and that's okay. I don't hold myself very tightly by that rule, by that habit, but for the most part I really do enjoy cooking. I like the, you know, process of coming up with a recipe or browsing for recipes, getting the ingredients, and just the process it takes to cook it. So that's definitely something I enjoy doing, and I would encourage people to do more of, because cooking is fun. And I understand that for some people cooking is not it, but I feel like maybe just finding a recipe that you really like and you're really good at, like if maybe your favorite meal, you could figure out a way to cook it. It just does, just, you know, an interesting mindfulness and intentionality that comes with a home cooked meal. Another habit that I try to imbibe, but it's not a more like ongoing habit, is kind of like frequent decluttering. So like almost like an in and out method, but like loosely based on that. So if I try not to purchase clothes or shoes or any of that very often, and again it just kind of ties back into my first habit, which is if I find that I really need something, I kind of mull over it, and then, you know, I really make sure that when I'm bringing it into my life, it's something that I actually really need, then it's going to serve a purpose. But that being said though, I also really like to just kind of go back into my closet or into the stuff just around my house that I own and see what it is that I'm using or not using, and if I really haven't, you know, found value in it, in a sense, I just give it away or sell it on Poshmark or something like that. And so I find that that's a good way for me to keep my space fairly minimal in a way, although for me it's not about the aesthetic, it's just about the freedom that comes with owning less also. So decluttering really does help me with that, and the more I declutter, the more open and free my space seems to be, and the less that the point is, once I declutter more, it just creates more of an openness and a clarity for me personally. Okay, so if it looks like the angle has changed a little bit or it's a bit darker in here, it's because my battery died. But anyway, as I was saying, the next habit that I have tried to pay more attention to or include in my life is just not browsing websites for the sake of surfing websites. And I remember, like, you know, before I became minimalist or whatever, I would just be chilling surfing websites like, I don't know, Forever 21, shoe websites, whatever it is, just because I was bored and I would always find something to buy. But now I just didn't do it. So if I need to go on a particular website, it's for a specific purpose. And I'm not saying that, you know, sometimes I don't fall back into that old habit and just browse for the sake of browsing, but now if that happens, I'm a lot better at not just buying impulsively. And so this is not something that I've been able to, you know, change overnight. It's still definitely an ongoing transformation and habit change for me, but it's definitely something to consider going into the new year, and especially if you want to become more of a minimalist. The next habit that I guess is not really fully a habit yet, but it's something I'm definitely attempting to do, is to kind of engage in some sort of digital declutter. I think I spend way too much time on my phone. I don't really know what my average screen time is, but it's definitely gone up now during the holidays than when I was in school during the term. But I definitely want to kind of delete unessential apps on my phone and only kind of stick to the essentials that I need and the ones that I use frequently. So that's definitely something that I'm working on right now, but by the new year it will definitely be a habit, I guess, to only have the essential apps on my phone. Then a final habit, which I guess would be, I don't know, I guess it's more of a minimalist habit, or maybe just like a general cleaning habit, is that I clean up like little bits and pieces here every day. So I never really leave my space a general mess and then go ahead and do like a big clean at the end of the week or anything like that. So I clean as I use stuff or as I kind of mess everywhere up. So if I cook or eat, I do the dishes right away, and I just don't let them pile up, because then that just gets too much, becomes too decluttering, and it just overwhelms me and stresses me out. And even for my bedroom, I put away my clothes and just make sure my bed is laid, you know, just make sure that my overall living space is cozy and clutter free, because that is just what gives me peace. And that's definitely a habit that I think I've always had, and definitely one that I don't see going anywhere. But those are just a few things that I thought I would share with you guys. If you have any habits that you think might be useful for me, or you think is pretty cool or has been useful for you, you can definitely let me know down in the comment section below. I would love to hear them out. But that's pretty much all I have to share with you guys today. I hope you've enjoyed watching. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new here and you haven't yet, or you kind of feel like it. Definitely really does help me out. But that's everything that I have to say for now, and I will see you guys next time in another video. Bye.